Welcome to Homeless U.S. News.
This shit out here is crazy. It's like they're turning people into zombies and walkers. I don't know where all these crazy people came in, but it's like an infestation of parasites. I used to smoke crack, I quit, because they're putting some weird shit in it now. It's like burning your kidneys, and it don't taste like real cocaine. It tastes really funky. I do my best to be okay, try to save it. If I can't, if I lose my hand or arm.
I caught a double infection in my spine, called osteomyelitis.
But it started coming out the way.
This is Homeless U.S. News. In the dim backstreets of Kensington, life flickers between hope and despair. They call this place a land of shadows, where once vibrant lives are caught in a tragic cycle of despair. Ghostly figures wander in a daze, their minds clouded by a crisis that is consuming the community's future as society averts its gaze. How deep the ruin? Through September 2025, over 50 million fentanyl doses seized statewide in Pennsylvania, per the Attorney General's office. Kensington holds about 35% of the city's unsheltered, roughly 341 braving daily terrors. Dare to look? Street homelessness situation. Walking through Kensington in 2025 feels like stepping into a world hidden in plain sight, a place where survival replaces routine, and each sunrise is both a relief and a reminder of another battle ahead. Under the elevated train tracks, tents and sleeping bags stretch for blocks, lining the sidewalks like an open wound the city has grown used to ignoring. The air carries a mix of cold metal, exhaust, and quiet desperation. Here, hundreds call the streets home, their lives unfolding under the constant rumble of trains and flashing police lights. According to Philadelphia's 2024 point-in-time count, the number of unsheltered individuals has risen nearly 40% in just 1 year, with Kensington alone accounting for more than a third of that increase. Behind every statistic is a name, a person who once had an address, a job, a dream. Some lost their homes after layoffs, others fled domestic violence, and many were pulled down by the relentless grip of addiction. Yet, amid the hardship, small acts of kindness still flicker in the dark. A shared cup of coffee, a blanket passed between strangers, a hand reaching out when someone falls. These are not stories of failure, they are stories of endurance. Every time I film here for Homeless U.S. News, I'm reminded that these streets could belong to any of us. Life's turns are unpredictable. One misfortune can unravel everything. And yet, hope still breathes here, in the courage of those who keep going despite it all. What would you do if your city faced the same reality? Have you ever stopped to talk to someone living on the street, to really see them? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe to Homeless U.S. News, so we can keep giving voice to those who deserve to be heard. The inescapable temptation of drugs. In Kensington, temptation doesn't whisper. It screams through every alley, every shadow beneath the elevated train. The lure of highly potent synthetic substances traps people in a chemical war they never meant to join. It creates a profound state of sedation, leaving users drifting between consciousness and oblivion, traps people in a chemical war they never meant to join. Many arrived here seeking peace or escape, but found something far more dangerous, an addiction that numbs pain while tightening its grip each day. According to Pennsylvania's Office of Attorney General, the city's drug supply in 2025 remains among the most potent in the nation, with synthetic opioids dominating street markets. Dealers move quietly, but the effect is loud. Lives lost, bodies collapsing mid-stride, eyes vacant, yet pleading for relief. For many I met while filming Homeless US News, the first hit wasn't about getting high. It was about forgetting, grief, failure, trauma, or simply hunger. But once fentanyl and its new sedatives entered their system, escape became a cruel illusion. The human body learns dependency fast, and in Kensington, the next dose is always within reach. You see people leaning in slow motion, nodding between reality and oblivion, their stories swallowed by the same streets they once called home. Yet inside that fog, fragments of hope still flicker, small moments of kindness, laughter, or shared food among strangers who understand each other's pain better than anyone else ever will. They deserve understanding, not avoidance. If these stories move you, help us keep telling them. Like this video, share it, and subscribe to Homeless US News. Every click strengthens the voice of those who are too often unheard. Together, we can shine light into the darkest corners and remind the world that empathy still matters. Physical and mental pain. Pain on the streets of Kensington isn't just physical. It's the slow wearing down of the body, mind, and soul. Every day is a test of endurance. Imagine sleeping on frozen pavement in winter, your body shaking through the night because there's no blanket thick enough to block the wind. In summer, the same streets turn scorching, the heat rising from the concrete until breathing feels heavy. According to Philadelphia's 2025 public health report, people living outdoors face infection rates 5 times higher than others in the city. Small wounds become dangerous. Untreated infections spread fast, and the body begins to give up. Feet swell from endless walking, backs ache from sleeping sitting up. And every morning starts with the same question: how do I make it through another day? But what breaks most people isn't the cold or the hunger, it's the loneliness. Nearly half of Philadelphia's unhoused population live with untreated depression or trauma, trapped between memories of what life used to be and fear of what tomorrow will bring. The noise in Kensington never stops. Trains clattering overhead, sirens wailing, strangers arguing in the dark. Sleep becomes rare, and with every sleepless night, hope slips further away. The world rushes past, pretending not to see. That silence hurts more than the hunger. Through Homeless US News, I've met people who still find ways to smile, to share, to help one another, even when they have almost nothing left. Their strength reminds us that humanity can survive even here. If stories like these move you, don't look away. Join this mission. Subscribe to Homeless US News, share these voices, and help us keep shining light on those fighting to hold on to hope. Together, we can remind the world that no one's pain should ever be ignored. The impact turning people into zombies. Walking through Kensington in 2025 feels like stepping into another world, a place where time slows and life hangs by a thread. Along the cracked sidewalks, people lean against walls or stand frozen mid-motion, eyes empty but still faintly searching for something, maybe peace, maybe escape. These are not monsters or outcasts. They're human beings, trapped in the grip of a chemical storm. Doctors and outreach workers warn that a new drug mixture has taken over these streets. Fentanyl blended with medetomidine, a tranquilizer so strong it sedates animals hundreds of pounds heavier than a person. Since mid-2024, Philadelphia's health department has tracked its spread, finding it in more and more overdose cases. It leaves users drifting in slow motion, breathing shallowly, barely conscious, their bodies swaying like ghosts under the rumble of the L train. Emergency crews call it the zombie effect. Naloxone, the life-saving spray that once reversed fentanyl overdoses, often fails now. Paramedics stay longer, hoping for a flicker of movement, while outreach teams try to keep people alive with warmth, food, and care. On these blocks, compassion becomes an act of quiet defiance. Volunteers kneel beside strangers, whispering their names, reminding them they still exist. Every small act, a hand on a shoulder, a bottle of water, fights back against the numbness that this poison spreads. And that's why Homelessness News exists, to show what's really happening behind the headlines, to give faces and names to those society walks past. If this story moves you, don't just scroll away. Leave a comment, share your thoughts, and subscribe to Homeless US News. Your voice helps keep theirs alive. Together, we can remind the world that behind every silent figure on these streets is a human soul still worth saving. A call to action and hope. As night falls over Kensington, the noise fades but the echoes remain. The sound of wheels scraping pavement, quiet prayers murmured under flickering streetlights, and the heavy silence of people simply trying to survive one more night. Standing there, you can feel the weight of forgotten stories pressing against the cold air. Every tent, every face, every empty stare carries a lifetime of dreams, interrupted. Through Homeless Us News, I've come to see that this isn't just about homelessness, it's about humanity. The real crisis isn't only in the streets, but in our hearts when we stop seeing and stop caring. Yet, amid the pain, there's a spark of hope that refuses to die. Volunteers walk block by block, offering coffee, blankets, and something far more powerful, dignity. Organizations like Project Home and Kensington Resilience Fund keep showing up, proving that one act of kindness can still change a day and maybe even a life. I've met people who were once lost to addiction but found recovery through community support, now helping others do the same. These are the stories that remind us that light can still break through the darkest corners when compassion leads the way. But this mission can't continue alone. It needs people like you, to listen, to share, to act. Every comment, every share, every subscription helps this message reach one more person who might make a difference. Together, we can turn awareness into movement, empathy into impact. If these stories move you, don't just watch, be part of the change. Subscribe to Homeless Us News, leave your thoughts below, and share this journey so that the world never forgets those still waiting to be seen. What will your first step toward hope be? Root causes. When you walk through Kensington, it's easy to see the tents and broken sidewalks, but the real story hides underneath. Every person here has a trail of causes that led them to this point. Some lost jobs when rent kept rising faster than their paychecks. Others were pushed out of neighborhoods they'd lived in for decades as developers replaced small homes with expensive units. According to HUD's 2024 report, homelessness in America rose by nearly 18% in just 1 year, and Philadelphia felt that blow deeply. Imagine trying to live on $2,200 a month when rent alone eats $1,700. There's no room left for medicine, food, or mistakes. One unexpected bill can erase the roof over your head. In Kensington, the change feels personal. Streets that once held generations of families are now lined with construction cranes. The sense of community that used to offer protection, the neighbor who'd lend $20 or share a meal, is disappearing. When people lose not just homes but the network that held them together, they fall faster and harder. It's not always about bad choices. Sometimes it's about systems that give no second chances. Then there's the unseen battle, mental health, addiction, and the collapse of post-pandemic support. When emergency rental aid and eviction protections ended, many who had barely survived the pandemic fell into homelessness overnight. With clinics overwhelmed and shelters full, small cracks widened into chasms. The truth is, homelessness isn't a single failure, it's the sum of many. And fixing it means caring before people disappear into the margins. What do you think is the biggest reason people fall through the cracks today? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe to Homeless US News, so together we can keep uncovering these human truths that too many choose not to see. Government turning a blind eye. Walking through Kensington, the gap between government promises and the reality on the ground feels impossible to ignore. The city has rolled out programs like the Overdose Prevention and Community Healing Fund and the Riverview Wellness Village, each presented as a turning point. Millions of dollars have been pledged. $264 million for operations, $75 million for facilities. But when you look around, the change still feels far away. The shelters are full, the treatment beds limited, and the people most in need remain outside, caught between waiting lists and city sweeps that scatter them without real alternatives. Riverview opened in early 2025 with just over 300 beds, meant to be a beacon of recovery. Yet it barely scratches the surface when thousands are struggling daily on these streets. Meanwhile, block after block, the open-air drug markets still run, and makeshift tents keep reappearing beneath the train tracks, no matter how many times they're cleared. Officials talk about progress, but for many residents here, progress is a word that's lost its meaning. It's not about speeches or ribbon cuttings, it's about whether someone gets to sleep inside tonight, or if a person in withdrawal can actually find a bed before it's too late. In Homeless US News, we've seen the frustration in people's eyes, the sense of being invisible to those in power. Real change can't come from statistics. It has to come from empathy, from leadership that listens before it legislates. The people of Kensington don't need pity. They need persistence, policy, and presence. How do you feel when you see governments spend millions but change so little on the ground? Share your thoughts below. I'd love to hear your perspective. And if you believe stories like this deserve to be seen, subscribe to Homeless US News so we can keep uncovering the truth together. Personal reflections. Every time I leave Kensington, something inside me stays behind. The faces I've seen, the voices I've heard, they don't fade when the camera stops rolling. They linger. There's a strange silence that follows, the kind that makes you question the meaning of comfort, of home, of luck. Filming Homeless US News in 2025 taught me one unshakable truth. The line between having a home and losing it is thinner than most people imagine. A lost job, a broken relationship, a medical bill too high to pay, sometimes that's all it takes. And the difference between me and the people I interview isn't strength or intelligence. It's circumstance. As I replay the footage, I see the small sparks of humanity that still burn bright in the darkest corners. A woman offering half her sandwich to a stranger, a man making jokes while shivering in the cold, friends watching over each other through the night. They remind me that even in the harshest realities, kindness survives. These people don't need pity, they need to be seen. They need someone to listen without judging. To understand that their stories are part of our shared story as a society. There are moments when I sit in my car afterward, hands on the steering wheel, wondering how the world can move on so easily while so many are left behind. those moments, I realize why this project matters. Homelessness News isn't just about showing what's wrong. It's about reminding us that empathy is action, and silence helps no one. If this story touched something in you, don't scroll away. Leave your thoughts below. What do you think each of us can do to make a difference? And if you believe these stories deserve to be heard, subscribe to Homeless US News so we can keep shining a light where it's most needed. Conclusion. As the night settles over Kensington, the echoes of the day remain. Soft voices trading stories, the clatter of carts, and the quiet persistence of people simply trying to survive. Walking away. What stays with you isn't just the sight of tents or the harsh wind sweeping through the streets. It's the strength behind every tired face. Homelessness here isn't only about losing a roof. It's about losing connection, opportunity, and the sense of being seen. Yet even in these broken streets, hope still breathes, in the small gestures of care, in the laughter that breaks the silence, in neighbors watching out for each other when no one else will. Kensington's story is Philadelphia's open wound, a reminder of how fragile stability can be. The city has invested millions through recovery programs, treatment centers, and housing initiatives, but progress moves slowly while need grows faster. Data from HUD's 2024 report showed homelessness rising despite the efforts, proving that this crisis can't be fixed by policy alone. Real change begins when society sees people, not problems. When compassion becomes stronger than judgment. When we stop treating those on the margins as invisible and start recognizing them as our neighbors, our fellow citizens, our shared humanity. Homeless Us News was created to keep that truth alive, to make sure these voices are heard and these faces remembered. Each story we tell carries a simple message. Empathy is the first step toward healing. If Kensington's reality touched you, don't let it fade when the screen goes dark. Leave a comment below. What part of this story spoke to you most? How do you think we can bring dignity back to places like this? And if you believe these stories deserve to be told, subscribe to Homeless US News today. Together, we can turn awareness into action and rebuild hope, one street at a time.